Oh, hello. My name is Mara, and welcome to Books Like Whoa. Today we're going to be talking about Kindle Unlimited, which, if you don't know, is a book subscription program, kind of like think maybe Netflix-ish, that Amazon runs. Now, there are a variety of different types of e-book subscription services out there. There's Scribd, there's a few. I mean, Audible, you can think of that as a type, I guess, of a subscription service, especially there's a couple of like add-on packages you can get. They all run slightly differently, right? And some of them are more expensive, some of them are less expensive, some of them have more flexible terms and conditions, some of them have, like you're actually procuring something as a part of the subscription. It varies, but I thought that I would just give you guys my 2 cents about Kindle Unlimited because it is one that I have been using now on and off for probably 4 or 5 years. So I feel like I have, some definite kind of feelings and thoughts about it. I'm going to link in the description box an article from Book Riot that I think does a really nice job of just describing kind of the minutia of how Kindle Unlimited works. So I think that that's a more I think it's hard to process a lot of the details in a video. So I wanted to link that for your reference, but I'll get into a high level of how it works. I'll tell you kind of how I use it and whether or not I think it's worth it and who I think it might be worth it for. So in terms of how Kindle Unlimited works, first I want to give a big caveat because I can't quite tell from my Googling what the answer to this is. I am speaking only from a US perspective. If you are in Canada, if you are in the EU, if you are in Australia, New Zealand, I can't speak to that. And I would go on Amazon in your country and do some research and make sure that what I'm saying applies to you. I just am not confident from what I have looked up. So caveat there. In the US at least, Kindle Unlimited is a subscription book service that costs $9.99 a month, and essentially what happens is that you have access to a very large library of Kindle books, ebooks, that you can access either through like a tablet, so like an iPad or whatever, or through your Kindle device. And you have unlimited access to read as many books as you want in that month. Now, at a time, you can only have 10 books out. So if let's say there was 20 books I was interested in and I wanted to check them all out at once, I could not do that. I would only be able to check 10 out at a time, but as soon as you return one, you're able to get a new one out. So there's no cap, to my knowledge, on Kindle Unlimited in terms of, some subscription services, you essentially can only have like 5 books out a month. So you can choose any 5 books, but once you've hit that, you have to wait until the next month. That's not the case with Kindle Unlimited in my experience, so there's that. The other thing about Kindle Unlimited in terms of terms and conditions and what I think sets it apart is that you were able to cancel at any time on a month-to-month basis. So I think other subscription services make it a lot harder for you to do that. So I say that if my membership started, let's say on the 1st of the month, if I canceled on the 15th, my membership would still stay for the rest of that month, but it would not be renewed for the following month. So a lot of subscription services really make it difficult for you to get out of them. And that's not just true in books. I found that to be true for I've done some like meal home box things. Like that was not very easy to get canceled out of. I find it hard to cancel out of some of the clothes subscription things that I've done. I would say that one thing to me that does set Kindle Unlimited apart is that it is very painless to join or to suspend your membership at really any time. So I think that's kind of like the overview of how it works. In terms of what's available in the Kindle Unlimited library, it's not every Kindle book, right? So like the newest bestseller, there's a decent chance that's probably not going to be Kindle Unlimited. That being said, depending on what genres you read, you might be surprised at how many books are available in Kindle Unlimited. And that, I guess, will transition into who I think this is good for and how I personally use it. I use Kindle Unlimited essentially every few months in the year. So I frequently am canceling my subscription and I'm frequently rejoining. I keep an Amazon wish list of books that I encounter out in the wild. So like as I'm browsing for books or thinking about purchasing books, if I notice that it is a Kindle Unlimited book, I will put it into a wish list called Kindle Unlimited. And when I get to a certain number of books that I've been kind of having my eye on, I'll go ahead and re-up my subscription, read those, and then unjoin. And I find that this is a really effective way to get to read a lot of like self-published type books end up in Kindle Unlimited, or and I say that there's, I think, still somewhat of a stigma around self-publishing. I think less so than it used to be, but I think depending on what genre you read in, so if you read in commercial fiction genres like romance, like mystery, like fantasy and sci-fi, a lot of times what authors who are popular in those genres will do is that they do have like their main books that are traditionally published, but sometimes they do have self-published works that they kind of have on the side. And at least, for instance, in like romance, and I think mystery too, a lot of those are on Kindle Unlimited. So I find it an effective way to kind of get some of the books that would probably typically be like anywhere from 99 cents to $2.99. Instead of actually buying them, I wait until I have enough of those in my Kindle Unlimited subscription. I go ahead and get that for a couple of months and then get through that backlog. So I think it's worth your time to go over to, now I will, one of the biggest drawbacks of Kindle Unlimited, and can I get an amen on this, is browsing is a fucking nightmare. Like, it is, the UI, the way that they have that set up in terms of how you browse the Kindle Unlimited library, it's not user-friendly, it's not fun, and so anyway, that is the biggest drawback to me about Kindle Unlimited, is that it does not do a very good job of making it easy for you to figure out if there are books you'd be interested in. But all that being said, I do think it's worth your time, if you are somebody who does read quite a bit of genre type fiction, to go over there and see if there are authors in there that you like, or if there are titles that you've heard of that might be available in Kindle Unlimited. Again, because I am a romance reader, actually a lot of the books that maybe in past generations would be like category type romances, so like a Harlequin or whatever, I think a lot of those have moved over to Kindle Unlimited. So whenever I'm in the mood for that sort of really like pulpy romance, Kindle Unlimited is like my go-to for that, especially pulpy paranormal romance. Like, they have got you. I'm not gonna say it's good, like, I'm not making that argument, but it's like brain candy, it's light, it's what I'm sometimes in the mood to read, and I'm glad to have that as like a resource to get my fix of that type of book from for a very affordable price, and in a way where I'm not buying them and like kind of junking up or filling up my e-reader. I really like Kindle Unlimited for that. The other nice thing about Kindle Unlimited is that they do often have sales on the membership rates, especially if it's been a while since you've been a member, so you can often get it for like 50%. On Prime Day this year, I actually went ahead and re-upped my Kindle Unlimited subscription, because I think it was there was a deal for it to be 99 cents for 3 months. So I just put a reminder on my phone of when I need to cancel it, but I just got 3 months for what, $2.98? And I feel like that's a really reasonable price. So yeah, I think that the nice thing about Kindle Unlimited is that there are a lot of deals associated with it, and there's a lot of flexibility in the terms and conditions. Now, I do also just want to address that I think some people have some very reasonable concerns about the compensation for authors in Kindle Unlimited. There's also been some scandals recently about people sort of like scamming how much they were getting paid for what they had on Kindle Unlimited. I'm not really going to touch on all of that, because frankly, I don't feel like I know enough about it to speak with any authority, and all I'll say is that I think for some people, Kindle Unlimited seems to be a really good thing for their independent writing career. So like a lot of certain self-published authors have done very well for themselves in Kindle Unlimited, but that does not mean that there are not abuses, and does not mean that some people are, I'm sure, kind of getting the short end of the stick. I love Amazon, but it is also the Voldemort of online retailing, and like I've just sort of made my peace with that. And just made my peace with my own ethical complicity in some of their shady business practices. I think if you're going to be a human in this world of global capitalism, that is a challenge that you essentially just, like, that is a kind of piece that you have to come and figure out which battles you want to fight. This is not one that I particularly feel compelled to fight, so I just wanted to put that caveat there, because I know that some people feel very strongly about this, and I respect those opinions, and like, you are welcome to them. I'm not going to challenge you on that. I personally I'm just leaving that alone. So anyway, all that kind of like summing that up, I think that Kindle Unlimited is a really great tool in your toolbox, in your tool belt, whatever. If you are somebody who reads ebooks, like if you like reading ebooks, if you're somebody who reads quite a bit of genre fiction, and if you're somebody who's willing to sort of like do the work of kind of figuring out what books are available in Kindle Unlimited, I think that this is actually like a really solid offering. It's probably my favorite of the subscription services I have tried, and I think that it's also been one of the most consistent in terms of offerings over the years. So for instance, like I really loved Scribd when it first got started, but then they realized that like genre readers can read a shit ton of books in a month, and so they like really massively changed their terms and conditions and removed a lot of it was not a good experience. Now I may be willing to try them again because I know that they have pretty drastically rejigged their business model, so at some point I'm probably going to give them another try. But anyway, all that to say, I have found that Kindle Unlimited has been my favorite of those types of book subscription services in terms of just like consistency and offering and a huge amount of flexibility that works personally for my reading style and like my reading lifestyle needs, however one would say that. So I think it's worth looking at if it's something that you've been kind of interested in. I don't think it's like a scam or anything, because that's also something you always sort of wonder about these kinds of services. I don't think it's a scam, and I think because it's backed by the behemoth that is Amazon, they have the freedom to give a lot of flexibility and to have pretty generous terms and conditions. So you know, you take the good with the bad. But anyway, I don't know if any of this was helpful. Like I said, I will definitely link that article below, which I think will give a much more like concise, direct description of the service. But these are just my thoughts. And since I have been a longtime user, I felt like maybe my opinion would be of help to someone who is maybe curious about it. So do with that what you will. But anyway, let me know what you think about Kindle Unlimited below. If you have ever been somebody who has used it, or if you've been thinking about it, definitely let me know your thoughts. Yeah, I think everybody's reading needs are different, so everyone's response will probably be a little bit different, but those are just my thoughts. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, follow me on the social medias if you are so inclined. I have all that information listed in the description box below. I think that will do it. Hope you're having a really great day, and I will talk to you soon. Bye!